Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, historical calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music you're hearing, and anything else potentially interesting that we might also gather throughout the show, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Aoxander, and today is Tuesday, also known as Tears Day, also known as Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. So what happened on this date, you may ask? Well, let's see here. Starting us off in the year 79, Mount Vesuvius began stirring on the feast day of Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. Went on to destroy Pompeii. This is the approximate date. So this is when it started stirring. So I don't think this is when it actually, it says here destruction of Pompeii. So when did Pompeii die? So let's see here. When was Pompeii destroyed? Let's see here. Okay, 79 AD, but what's the date? When did Pompeii start and end? Okay, well, it's not having the exact date, but, hey, it's from a long time ago, so, So, it's surmised to be on this date, when it started. Anyway, jumping on up into 406, the battle at Florence still shows Roman army defeated Radagasius barbarians. 1305, Scottish patriot William Wallace was executed for high treason by Edward I of England at Smithfield, London. Freedom! We need some of that. 1500, Governor Francisco de Bobadilla arrived in the Indies. Soon after, arrest and send former Governor Christopher Columbus back to Spain in chains. Oh, wow. So, he got arrested, and wow. I had no idea. So, did Christopher Columbus die by execution? No. His legacy as an administrator is controversial, especially his role in promoting slavery, destroying the Taino people, and harsh punishments towards Spanish colonists. So, yeah, he was not a good guy. 41 years later, in 1541, French explorer Jacques Cartier landed near Quebec City in his third voyage to Canada. Why is I need good lines. 1793, during the French Revolution, the National Convention adopted the Levée en Masse, conscripting all able-bodied men between 18 and 25 for military service during the French Revolutionary Wars. 1799, Napoleon left Egypt for France en route to seize power. Here we go. Because the Napoleonic Wars took place in the early 1800s. So I'm not sure if before or after 1810, but I think it was 1806, actually. Let me look it up. When did the Napoleonic Wars start? May 18th, 1803. So, wow. It looks to be 12 years of war. 1923, Paavo Nurmi of Finland ran the world record for 1 mile in 4 minutes, 10.4 seconds in Stockholm. The record stood until 1931. Wow, so that's almost a decade. That's 8 years. 1926, the U.S. National Championship Women's Tennis, Forest Hills, New York. Mola Bajurset-Mallory defeated Elizabeth Ryan 4-6, 6-4, 9-7 for her 8th and final U.S. singles title. 4 years later, 1930, U.S. National Women's Tennis in Forest Hills, New York. Once again, England's Betty Nuthall-Schumacher defeated Anna McQueen-Harper 6-1, 6-4 for her lone major title. Well, at least she got one. 1933, Mahatma Gandhi was released from Indian jail following another hunger strike. 3 years later, 1936, 17-year-old Cleveland Indians future Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Bob Feeler's debut in Major League Baseball game. He struck out 15 of St. Louis Browns in a 4-1 win at League Park in Cleveland. Wow, come out swinging, 2 years after that, 1938, You Can't Take It With You, from the play by George S. Kaufman and Moss Hart, directed by Frank Capra and starring James Stewart and Jean Arthur, premiered, later to receive the Best Picture in 1939. And speaking of 1939, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union agreed to the Molotov-Ribbentrop non-aggression pact and secretly divided Poland between themselves, setting the stage for the second global conflict. Yep, this is how it all starts. So, actually, World War II started in... Hold on, World War II starts... September, so, yeah, soon. Very soon. 1940, Queen Wilhelma of the Netherlands dismissed Premier de Geer. Premier de Geer. The de Geer Premier. 1942, Walter Johnson pitched to Babe Ruth in a pregame attraction that drew 69,000. The New York Yankees Washington Major League Baseball doubleheader at Yankee Stadium raised $80,000 for Army-Navy relief, which I bet not a single penny of that actually went to that fund. It went straight to the pockets of the politicians and the corporations that backed it. 1944, British General Bernard Montgomery consulted with U.S. Generals Omar Bradley and Dwight D. Eisenhower. Monty, you waste of space. Should have listened to Patton. We would have won the war. Would have kicked, we wouldn't have had a Cold War. There wouldn't have been a Soviet Union if we had listened to Patton. If we had listened to MacArthur, there wouldn't have been a, problem with, Korea and China and Vietnam and all that stuff, we let politics get into war and then everything gets muddled, No, war is straight. You kill them or they kill you, one way or the other. It's that simple, Don't even bring politics into war. 1946, The Big Sleep, directed by Howard Hawks and starring Humphrey Bogart as Philip Marlowe and Lauren Bacall, premiered. 1953, Italian Ferrari driver Alberto Ascari clinched his second Formula One World Drivers' Championship by winning Swiss Grand Prix at Bremgarten. Look at that old racing uniform. Back in the day. Now they have, spacesuits. 1954, President Getulio Vargas of Brazil resigned temporarily. Sounds just like he needed a little bit of a vacation right there. 1959, during the 20th Venice Film Festival, The Great War, directed by Mario Monticelli, and General della Rovere, directed by Roberto Rossellini, jointly awarded the Golden Lion. The Golden Lion! Not as impressive as Big Lion, but he's just way too powerful. 1970, Roberto Clemente compiled his record second straight 5-hit game. Cool. 1972, Chicago's Dick Allen was the fourth, with the first three being Jimmy Fox, Hank Greenberg, and Alex Johnson, to homer into Chomsky Park's center field bleachers. Also in 1972, Republican convention at Miami Beach in Florida renominated Vice President Spiro Agnew, but not unanimously. There was one vote went to NBC newsman David Brinkley. NBC. 1974, John Lennon reported seeing a UFO in New York City. Well, it is John Lennon. It was probably drugs. So, 1988, Mike Tyson and Mitch Green brawled at 4 a.m. in Harlem. Well, 4 a.m. Fight. I don't think that was a televised thing. I think it was a personal beef going on. 1993, Fred McGriff and David Justice were the sixth to hit back-to-back home runs twice in the same game. Dang. That's pretty cool. 1994, Jeff Buckley released his album Grace, featuring his cover of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. Hallelujah. 365 days later, 1995, actor Larry Hagman received a liver transplant. Okay. Cool. 1996, Osama bin Laden issued a message entitled A Declaration of War Against the Americans Occupying the Land of the Two Holy Places. Yep. And, we all know how that turned out. 2005, Hurricane Katrina formed over the Bahamas, later becoming a Category 5 hurricane. Yeah, we all know about that, Katrina, major disaster. Don't even get me started on the whole, dike thing. Breaking the dikes, letting it flood, causing problems. 2008, the star-studded American women's basketball team, led by the likes of Lisa Lelly, Sue Bird, and Deanna Tarusi won the gold medal at the Beijing Olympics with a convincing 92-65 win over Australia. Yep. Good night, mate. It's the U.S. who owns the court today. Tell you what. 2011, Libyan leader Muammar al-Gaddafi was overthrown after the National Transitional Council forces took control of Bab al-Aziza compound during the 2011 Libyan civil war. Yeah, this guy, such a villain. He was trying to get Syria onto a gold standard and stop depending on the U.S. dollar. Oh, what a bad man. Now look into it. This guy, he was actually a hero to Africa. He was trying to help Africa, and then the United States went in and got a knife stuck up his butt. So, Gaddafi. 2015 Canadian Open Women's Golf at Vancouver Golf Club. Lydia Ko of New Zealand won in a playoff with Stacey Lewis for her third success in the event. 2018, just 4 years ago, tenor Placido Domingo signed his 150th opera role in Bizet's The Pearl Fishers at the Salzburg Festival in Austria. Neat. 2020 UEFA Champions League final at Lisbon. Kingsley Coman heads German giants Bayern Munich to the club's sixth crown in a 1-0 win over Paris Saint-Germain. 2020 as well. U.S. black man Jacob Blake shot and injured by police in front of his children in Kenosha, Wisconsin, prompting violent protests. Oh yeah, the Kenosha problems. Is George Floyd coming up? Like, when did the George Floyd thing happen? Oh, here we go. When did it happen? May. So it happened already a while ago. 2020, as well, U.S. Republican Party convention began by formally renominating Donald Trump for a second presidential term. Yep, that didn't work out too well. Before we move on to the Burst and Des, were there any articles that grabbed your attention more than most? Start a dialogue in the comments section. Let's keep the thing going. There might be things I don't know. There might be things you don't know. Just like anything interesting, just talk about it. But both off camera, do research and expand our intellectual horizons together. Moving on into Burst, we have Louis XVI, born on this date in 1754. He was a king of France from 1774 through 1793. He was eventually guillotined. He was born in Versailles, Yvelines, France, dying in 1793 by losing his head. Yep. Oh, the French and their guillotines. 1769, Georges Colver, or actually Jean-Leopold Nicolas Frédéric Colver, was a French naturalist and zoologist born in Montbéliard, France, dying in 1832. Who else was born on this day? Gene Kelly. That's an interesting name. It's kind of familiar. 1912, he was a U.S. dancer, singer, actor, choreographer, and film director. An American in Paris, on the town, singing in the rain. Born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, dying in 1996. Alright. Yeah, that's why I kind of vaguely remember his name. Which, by the way, when they filmed Singing in the Rain, they actually used milk because it shows up better on camera than water. 1924, Robert Solow, a U.S. economist who developed the Solow-Swan model of economic growth. He was born in New York City, New York. Alright. Vera Miles, 1929, is a U.S. actress. Psycho, the man who shot Liberty Valance, born in Boise City, Oklahoma. So she was in Psycho. She kind of looks like a psycho. Just kidding. Barbara Eden, born on this date in 1931. She is a U.S. actress. Dream of Jeannie, born in Tucson, Arizona. Oh, hey, she was Jeannie. I can't do it. Nancy Ritchie, 1942, a U.S. tennis player, Australian Open of 1967, and the French Open of 1968, born in San Angelino, Texas. Tejas. Then we have Keith Moon in 1946, a British rock drummer, The Who, Bellboy, born in London, England, dying in 1978. Man, he has a very Scott haircut going on right there. Then We have River Phoenix. Ooh, River Phoenix. Born on this date in 1970, he was a U.S. actor. Little Nicta, Stand By Me. Born in Madras, Oregon, dying in 1993. Didn't he die from an OD or something? Yep, OD. So, Kobe Bryant. Oh, Black Mamba. Happy birthday to you, Black Mamba. 1978, Kobe Bryant, U.S. basketball legend. NBA champion 2000 through 2002 for the Lakers, and then 2009 through 10. NBA MVP in 2018, 2008, 18-time NBA All-Star for the LA Lakers, Olympic gold in 2008 and 2012. Born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, dying in 2020. Sounds like the beginning of French Prince of Bel-Air, like streets of Philadelphia, born and raised. Isn't that how it went? He was started in Philly? Man. Yep. Moving on into deaths, we have William Wallace, 1305, a Scottish patriot. He was hanged, disemboweled, and beheaded at Smithfield, London. All he wanted to do was independence. And look at what the British did to him. Poor Scots. I support a free Ireland. I support a free Scotland. I support a free Hong Kong. I support a free Tibet. You know, I support free Uyghurs. I support free everything. So, yeah. 1628, George Villiers, the first Duke of Buckingham, and an English courtier who was a favorite of King James I. He was assassinated by Army officer John Felton at 35. Dang. Then we have Rudolph Valentino, died on this date in 1926. He was an Italian actor in silent movie Idol. The Sheik and Eagle died of a relapse of pleuritis in New York at 31. Pleuritis. What is pleuritis? Let's see here. It is a condition with the pleura, two large thin layers of tissue that separate your... Didn't we talk about this before? Thin layers of tissue that separate your lungs from your chest wall becomes inflamed. Also called pleuritis. Pleurisy causes sharp chest pain, pleuritic pain, that worsens during breathing. So don't breathe, you know, if you have pleuritis. And we have Ed Warren, died on this date in 2006. He was a U.S. paranormal investigator, died at the age of 79. I can't read, I don't know why. There's golden stuff in my... Oh, hey, look, my eye is, like, in the website, like, right here. And that concludes the show. Once again, you can check the underbar, the description, for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to everything Omni Coalition. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific time. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and you are you. And until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until then, toodles! Let's go, Brandon.